Hi everybody, Joe Haney here with another IAC tip of the month. This month we're talking about depth versus surface filtration and when you may need to consider an ePTFE membrane filter. Depth filtration is the traditional way of operating dust collectors in every industry across the globe. When you operate under depth filtration, you have a traditional filter, you introduce dust to that filter, that raises pressure, and it also raises what's called capture or collection efficiency. You need dust on the filter to raise the pressure and raise the collection efficiency of that bag. That's depth filtration. But what happens when you have real fine particulate, nasty wet dust, or maybe environmental requirements that are increasing and making you realize that depth filtration may not work for you? That's when we need to look at considering a conversion to what's called surface filtration. Surface filtration is when we add an ePTFE membrane to the surface of that filter. If you could look at that under a magnifying glass, what you see is billions of openings per square inch, all large enough to let air molecules through, but far too small to let particulate and moisture through that filter bag. Now you've converted to what's called surface filtration. The dust collects against the surface of that membrane, and then it's much easier to operate more efficiently, operate at a lower pressure point for quite some time, and eliminate mechanical failure of loss of airflow through that filter bag over its general lifetime. So it's kind of a complicated subject. It's not for every baghouse on every application, but sometimes it's the most important decision you can make on your dust collector. That's depth versus surface filtration. If you have questions about how this is done or when you should consider it, IAC'd like to talk to you about that. It's depth versus surface filtration. My name is Joe. This is a tip of the month from IAC. Thanks.